the villain in this entire story is not Blake Lively, it's not Justin Baldoni, but it is Ryan Reynolds. And now I look at him and I just go, how did I not see? Look, he puts Botox in his forehead. Of course, he's a madman. Of course, obviously.
All right, buckle up, because today we're diving deep into a Hollywood power couple that's got everyone talking Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. On the surface, they seem like the ultimate fairy tale romance. Picture perfect red carpet moments, adorable social media banter, and a relationship straight out of a rom-com. But what if I told you there's something much darker happening behind the scenes? Candace Owens has been pulling back the curtain on Hollywood's elite, and this time, she's setting her sights on Ryan Reynolds. Allegations have been swirling that Ryan might be controlling Blake Lively's career and public image in ways that will shock you. Stick around, because after this deep dive, you'll never look at this couple the same way again.
This document, which was dropped on the 24th of January, goes in to sort of say, listen, they're trying to demand that, as it says here, like, just because Lively parties provided the New York Times with the otherwise confidential administrative complaint doesn't mean that they started it first. That's sort of what they're trying to say here. Miss Lively started it first, but the argument that they started it is misleading and ignores the reality that the utterly calamitous effects of Wayfarer's parties claimed to suffer as a result of reported facts and filed allegations were, on information and belief, initiated by the manner in which they or their counsel leaked the CRD complaint to the tabloid media. So here's what they're trying to say here. Well, you guys leaked it to TMZ and other outlets that this was filed. We didn't put it out there.
So essentially what they said is this is what happened. They said that you have on set these things that are called dailies, which is essentially all of the footage that was shot in one day. They said one day, Ryan Reynolds comes to set. This is the backstory. Comes to set, reviews the dailies, or the raw footage, whatever that was shot today, reviews the script, and then he goes into his trailer, allegedly. Don't gag order or sue me, Ryan Reynolds. Okay, I don't want to be involved in all the drama. I'm just telling my audience what I was told. He goes into Blake Lively's trailer and they have an argument. All of the production assistants overheard the argument, okay? Now, what was at the root of that argument? We don't know, but we can assume it had something to do with what he saw in these dailies, what he read in the script. Who even knows what led him to even visit on this day? And the person says that from that day forward, he started involving himself, that he basically became a chaperone for her on set. He was there basically every day, involved in the projects, wanting to rewrite lines, and suddenly Ryan Reynolds was trying to wrangle this project from Justin Baldoni, okay? So that is first and foremost positively fascinating, because I didn't even consider the angle that there had been some sort of a fight that took place between Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds that switched things. But it makes sense when you look at the lawsuit, because Justin Baldoni is like, we offered her an intimacy coordinator and she was not okay with it. Then suddenly in her complaint, which I am now referring to as Ryan Reynolds' complaint, she's like, there was no intimacy coordinator. And he's like, she was totally fine and joking with me about this stuff. And then all of a sudden in the complaint, she's like, why is he riffing at all? Like, we have to just stay in character at all times, which is a bizarre thing for any actor or actress to say, because riffing is a part of the job. Like, you know, I only did drama club when I was in like 8th grade. I think I was a munchkin in The Wizard of Oz, but even I knew that you gotta riff, because you gotta be able to riff. That's the whole point. Something could go wrong and you gotta be able to be on your feet. So it was oddly particular for her to say he was not in character or this or whatever it was. But when you add that she was okay with everything until a certain day, it starts to make sense. So let's go through some of these elements. So the person then told me that what followed was essentially Justin Baldoni being completely sideswept by Ryan, just trying to peacock him and show him that, like, it doesn't matter who you are. Like, I'm the A-lister. I am Ryan Reynolds. I have A-list friends. I'm friends with Taylor Swift. I am friends with Hugh Jackman. I'm the person that plays Deadpool. And that is when, and this person was a strong contact. So this isn't like a little bit of tea. This is like, I felt good receiving this information from another person who said that it was Ryan Reynolds who marched into WME, okay, which is Endeavor. It's also called Endeavor. It is the biggest talent agency in the world. Every celebrity is under there, from Taylor Swift to Justin Baldoni, and said, it's us or it's him. Like, you're gonna drop Justin Baldoni or you're gonna lose all of us. And obviously that has a little bit of weight at Endeavor if you're friends with Taylor Swift. So here's the article of what happened next. You can see Justin Baldoni gets dropped from WME in wake of Blake Lively's sexual harassment allegations. That person is telling me that it was 100% Ryan that orchestrated that dropping, and it was an ultimatum that he delivered to their door. So Ryan...
Hollywood loves a good power couple, and Ryan and Blake have been the blueprint for relationship goals. But what if their carefully curated image is just that, an image? Candace Owens has pointed out time and time again that Hollywood isn't what it seems, and when it comes to Blake and Ryan, she might just have a point. Let's talk about how Blake's career has shifted drastically since she got with Ryan. Remember her Gossip Girl days? She was poised to be the next big thing. But ever since tying the knot with Ryan, her roles have been ... strategic, to say the least. Sources close to Hollywood insiders claim that Ryan has a heavy hand in Blake's career decisions, steering her away from projects that might not align with his family-friendly brand. Now, let's be real, when was the last time Blake had a major blockbuster role? It's almost like she's been placed in a carefully controlled box, where her main job is to be the loving, doting wife and mother, while Ryan takes center stage. Is this just a coincidence, or is there something more going on behind the scenes?
Wait, OMG. I just realized that skit goes on longer, okay? And he brings his mom in, and literally nothing they are saying makes any sense unless we are now hearing the exact text messages, and I'm guessing text messages, that Ryan found between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. Like, this is not a normal script. Watch this.
Yeah.
Brandon, I saw the film, and may I say, you are incredible in this movie. On a scale from 1 to, I stopped taking my blood thinner medication, because if I can't have you, I don't want me.
Mrs. Reynolds, you should probably keep taking your medication. And I'm a little worried about your son. Like, he's for sure addicted to meth,
God
right?
damn, you're gorgeous. It creeps up on you.
Jesus, God, no.
Did you know that Ryan lost his father in 2015?
I'm sorry. And living with Ryan must have been incredibly hard for him.
Bro, I don't feel very comfortable asking this question.
Nope, I got it. I'll get it. Here, I can do that. You're not going to read it? I will then. Okay, thank you very much. That's the one. It says Ryan would love to have a new dad to have a catch. And I think he could really use a man in his life. Hugh is no spring chicken anymore. Blink once for yes, or blink once for I'd love to be your new dad.
Guys, what's going on here? Like, do you think that he is switching names around here, and maybe in the dailies she said that off camera because the mic was still on? As we know, he was catching stuff off camera, and maybe she made a comment about like Ryan being old and like her having young kids. And also, what is this meth thing? Like, the meth joke is very weird. You're on meth. Yeah, meth. Like, is Ryan on meth? Like, why would you say that? This has nothing to do with It Ends With Us promotion. Let's be very clear. That's not what's happening here. Okay, so this is my new theory, having now watched that. I feel like either in the dailies or via text messages, he heard a conversation about him between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni, where Blake opened up to him about Ryan having lost his father. Maybe Ryan wasn't the same since, or whatever. He said it's like they never resolved their issues. This is like this isn't It Ends With Us promotion. Like, why is this all being said? And this is what made Ryan completely lose the plot and just decide that he had to positively destroy Justin Baldoni. Like, he went mad. And I don't get this meth bit. This meth bit is very weird. I keep saying like he's on meth. I don't get that. But I think we're at like 99% here in terms of what went down.
Justin's lawyer is saying all these motions to dismiss are just yet another attempt by Miss Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and Leslie Sloan to hide and delay the discovery of the hundreds of pages of true facts and well-documented information that we remain dedicated to providing publicly with full transparency. Let's see. We expect such motions to be denied, and in the meantime, stand ready to oppose each and every one of them. Of course. Now, aren't they going to try and their own motions to dismiss? It's pretty standard. I don't think this is much of a news story, but of course, Blake and Ryan can ever and will never take any accountability. So yet again, they're trying to just have it be thrown away because, they're rich, famous people.
Ryan Reynolds is known for being the funny, charming, self-deprecating guy that everyone loves. But let's not forget Hollywood is all about image, and some say Ryan has perfected his PR machine better than anyone else. Candace Owens has repeatedly called out Hollywood's obsession with controlling narratives, and Ryan might be one of the biggest culprits. While he's out here making millions off his Deadpool persona, being the relatable everyman, there's growing speculation that he's also controlling how Blake is perceived in the media. Think about it, every time there's a major story about Ryan, Blake is somehow always a part of it. Their social media banter, scripted. Their public appearances, strategically timed. It's almost as if Ryan's team is making sure he's seen as the loving, doting husband while keeping Blake in a perfectly polished supporting role. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Multiple insiders have claimed that Ryan has a major say in what Blake does professionally. Could it be that he doesn't want her to outshine him?
Ryan Reynolds is full on panicking right now. I think he caught her, catching some feelings and definitely being a little bit too into Justin Baldoni. He's like, you're out of here, nice pool. All of that to be said, my guess is that he is a big reason for this lawsuit, which has turned around and has bitten him in the ass. And the reason why we know he is so scared is because what happens when you are getting everything like bad press beyond belief? When everyone and their mother is talking badly about you, what's the first thing you do? You shut off your Instagram comments because you know that you have no control over the narrative. If you post something, all your bad comments come in. So what did he do? This was about a week and a half ago. He shut down his Instagram comments. He went to that comments have been limited, which is what you do when you're in the middle of a scandal. And so he has about 6 comments open on every single one of his Instagram comments, and they look like this. 53 million followers on Instagram, and he has 6 comments, and each one of them have like 100 likes. This guy is getting killed online. Also, by the way, every single one of his comments is a Ryan Reynolds fan page. Ryan Reynolds photos. I love you, Ryan Reynolds. Fan City Reynolds. It ain't looking good. And then here's the next step.
Now, let's talk about Blake's filmography. Before she married Ryan, she was on the fast track to superstardom. She had hits like The Town and Savages, proving she had the range to take on gritty, serious roles. But then, a sudden shift. Instead of capitalizing on her momentum, Blake started taking on safer, family-friendly projects, ones that wouldn't outshine Ryan's big-ticket movies. Take a simple favor. For example, while she shined in the role, the marketing still leaned into the Blake as a fashionable wife and mom narrative rather than celebrating her acting chops. Candace Owens has been vocal about Hollywood's tendency to sideline women once they become wives and mothers, especially if their husbands are bigger stars. Could Ryan be subtly steering Blake's career into a lane that benefits him more than it benefits her? And let's not forget, Blake has publicly said she doesn't have an agent. She lets Ryan help her navigate career choices. That's a huge red flag.
Okay, so I'm now going to cut to this YouTuber named The Quartering, who goes through what it is exactly that Jeremy says in this video so that you can just assess. I think honestly, The Quartering, every thought that I had in my brain watching it, he kind of just said it. Here you go. Here's the first thing.
What Reagan hasn't done is taking acting classes to be more like Brett Cooper. That is just completely absurd, and it's hurt my feelings a little bit that Brett hasn't done more to defend her friend.
Whoa. So now, guy worth $100 million with $1 billion company is saying that Brett Cooper hurt his feelings because she hasn't defended Reagan, who is not Jeremy Boring, is not related to Jeremy Boring, has nothing to do with Jeremy. Why is his feelings hurt? He's trying to guilt her into making some sort of statement promoting her old show, which she has absolutely no obligation to do.
Now, let's get into social media, because if there's one thing Ryan Reynolds knows how to do, it's play the game. We've all seen the witty Instagram exchanges and trolling between Blake and Ryan. It's funny, it's relatable, and it makes us all love them. But here's the thing, everything in Hollywood is calculated. Nothing is random. Sources suggest that Ryan has a team that helps craft his online persona, and that includes his interactions with Blake. Some insiders claim that their public image as a fun-loving couple is more of a marketing tool than an actual reflection of their relationship. And here's something even more suspicious: Blake barely posts about her career anymore. Her feed, mostly pictures of Ryan, their kids, or carefully curated family moments. Meanwhile, Ryan's social media still heavily focused on his projects. Is this another sign that Ryan wants to keep Blake in the background while he dominates the spotlight?
And also, they're not friends. And so the language of making it seem like they are presently friends, and you would therefore be, I know, the whole world knows that they're not friends. So why would you be hurt by someone not promoting a show of their former friend? And also, I'm going to ask the question, can she even speak out about this? Because it certainly doesn't look like it. And, NDAs are industry standard. So that also is another question. Then there kind of gets to this portion where he's speaking about acting classes, and I will just let Quartering take this part away as well.
Candace Owens has never been afraid to call out how Hollywood controls women, and Blake Lively might just be the latest example of this disturbing trend. We've seen it time and time again: women who start off as ambitious, talented, and independent suddenly become just a wife once they marry a powerful man in the industry. And let's be honest, when was the last time we saw Blake Lively being treated as serious actress, rather than just Ryan Reynolds' wife? Hollywood has a pattern of keeping powerful men on top by ensuring their wives remain in the background. And Ryan, he's thriving. Blake, she's stuck in this cycle of being the supportive wife rather than the A-list star she should be.
I just don't think the audience likes the show. I think they appreciated Brett in that role, and I don't think you can just blame the markets and say, well, you're going to see, we are going to be successful. Like, there seems to be this underlying anger and upset there that the audience doesn't like it. It's literally, we saw this meme circulating on the internet. It's this meme for the comment section. Jeremy Boring shoots the comment section with Brett Cooper, then turns around and goes, how could Brett Cooper do this? How could she do this to us? It's okay, totally fine. And if you think, or if you constantly see yourself as the victim of this, as opposed to just taking it on the chin and saying, they don't like this, let me create something else.
So, what do we take away from all this? Is Ryan Reynolds really the fun-loving, goofy guy we see online? Or is he carefully orchestrating a career where he stays on top while keeping Blake in a perfectly curated, secondary role? Candace Owens has been exposing Hollywood's hypocrisy for years, and this might just be another case of a male star quietly pulling the strings behind the scenes. One thing's for sure: Blake Lively was destined for A-list status, and yet, her career has been oddly quiet since she became Mrs. Reynolds. Now, we have to ask, is Blake choosing to stay in the background, or is Ryan making sure she has too? Let me know what you think in the comments. Is Candace onto something here? Is Ryan really as controlling as some sources claim? One thing's for sure: Hollywood's secrets are never as pretty as they seem.